hurts.
Your hip.
What hurts?
My hip.
Why does your hip hurt?
I gotta rest. Can I rest?
How would somebody of your old age of 11 have a hip that hurts?
I gotta rest.
You have to rest. You're kind of resting right now. What you're doing isn't causing exertion. It's not getting your heart rate up.
Can I sit on a pod swing?
No.
Yes.
We're almost done.
I don't want to be. I want to be done.
After we finish this activity, you can go rest your hip.
Can I rest my hip now?
Well, you're kind of already resting your hip. But you can go rest it more once we're done with this activity.
Can I rest it more now?
You're already resting it by sitting there.
Can I rest it more? Can I sit on the pod swing now?
As soon as we're done separating the Lego pieces.
What if I sneak to the pod swing while I'm not allowed to?
What if?
I get caught.
What happens if you get caught?
I don't know.
What do you think happens?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's best not to find out.
What if I never sat?
You tell me.
My hip will hurt even more.
Okay.
What? I broke my hip. I broke my hip.
So, Jackson, when you say you broke your hip, you gotta say, "Help! I've fallen and I can't get up." Can you say that?
No.
Oh, you're not done yet.
Yes, I am done yet.
Bring those hips back over here.
I have hip pain.
So Jackson has always done little things like with ailments and things like that. So when he was 7, his BHT was mortified when during a school play, he stood up and just out of nowhere started screaming, "I'm pregnant." And then he did that same thing to me in Rite Aid one time when we were walking through. And I was just calm as a clam. And I was like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "Yes, I am." So if we had asked him to go brush his teeth, he'd be like, "But I have tongue disease." And the one day he's like, "I'm having a heart attack." So it was really funny because we're like, what's going on here? And it turned out it was from commercials. So from any of the medication commercials, the Pepto-Bismol commercial, like all sorts of things. So he would say he had all these ailments in order to get out of doing stuff. And that was having hip pain was funny that day. So there was that. He also wished ailments on other people, which was kind of comical if you weren't on the receiving end of it. I know he told his BCBA one day that he was a bully and he hoped he got hepatitis A or something like that. And it was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness it was during COVID and they all had their masks on because their reactions hopefully wouldn't have given him cause to keep doing it. But I think he's told somebody, he'll ask, like, "Do you have brain cancer?" And it's like weird, when somebody asks you if you have an ailment that nobody would be able to see or know. So, but he goes through phases where he does those. And so that was funny that we caught that on video because he had hip pain because he didn't want to separate the Lego pieces. By the way, worst decision ever to do the Taj Mahal Lego thing. They were the smallest pieces. We didn't have all the pieces. They weren't sitting flat. Scrapped. No, it didn't happen. But we stuck with it a lot longer than we should have. But yeah, there's nothing to show for that one. But the goal that day wasn't build a Taj Mahal. The goal was separate the pieces. So, but he did, after he left, we did get him back. And his hips are still fine. So that's a little fun one for today.